Gannon, I promise this is the last time I'm going to ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose?
Yeah, I wanted to come.
Because we gotta get it fixed, old lady. Don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay? You got it? You got it?
I'm just worried about my friend.
Okay, shh. Listen.
She keeps threatening me. Stop. Well, she keeps threatening. Stop.
I am Tisha Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Cold Case Collectives. Today we're diving into a case filled with twists, deception, and a truth more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. An 11-year-old disappears, a stepmother's story keeps changing, and surveillance footage reveals something no one was prepared for. This is the moment the Gannon Stauch case broke wide open.
You know where an 11-year-old is, and I am here telling you we could go find him, and you are not giving us his location. Alive or dead.
I did not hurt my child, okay?
On a cold January day in 2020, an 11-year-old boy vanished from his Colorado home. At first, it looked like a simple runaway, but within days, cracks began to rip open in the story. Strange interviews, conflicting timelines, and a stepmother whose behavior set off alarm bells across the nation. What began as a missing child case quickly spiraled into one of the most disturbing and heartbreaking crime stories in recent memory. Gannon Stauch was an 11-year-old boy living in Lorson Ranch, a quiet suburban community near Colorado Springs. He lived with his father, Albert Stauch, his stepmother, Letitia Stauch, and his younger sister Gannon was known for his gentle personality, his love of video games, and his bond with his family. In late January 2020, Albert was away on National Guard training. Letitia, who had been married to Albert since 2015, was caring for the children during his absence. What followed would forever change the Stauch family. January 27, 2020. Letitia claimed she last saw Gannon around 3:15 p.m., saying he left to go play with a friend. She told officers he packed a backpack and simply walked away.
When was he last seen? Maybe around like 3:30 maybe? Has this ever happened before? No.
But even in the first hours, nothing about her story seemed right. It was winter. Gannon had been sick that morning, and no friends or neighbors saw him leave. When Albert returned from his training, he immediately sensed something was off. The sheriff's office launched a search, joined by volunteers, neighbors, and eventually the FBI. Despite Letitia insisting he was just missing, investigators noticed something strange. She kept changing her story. Letitia gave multiple versions of what happened that day. In one, Gannon ran away. In another, he was kidnapped by a man named Eduardo. In another, she implied self-harm. Each version contradicted the last. Then came the video, captured by a neighbor's surveillance camera. It showed Letitia and Gannon getting into her truck early that morning. Hours later, she returned home, without Gannon. This was the moment Albert broke down in tears. He realized something terrible may have happened to his son. Letitia denied everything, attacked the investigators on social media, and even gave a bizarre TV interview where her behavior left viewers stunned. Her defensive, inconsistent answers only deepened suspicion.
2 sons waiting for us in heaven. I have some words from my daughter Elena I will address in the middle of my speech, but they're written in yellow, so I don't know if I should leave it to a child. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole.
As investigators searched the Stauch home, they found disturbing traces of evidence. Blood on Gannon's mattress, walls, and the carpet. Blood in the garage, including a leakage trail. Evidence of a violent struggle. Signs that someone tried to clean up the scene. Phone records showed Letitia had driven hundreds of miles on the day of the disappearance, stopping at remote locations off Highway 105 and near Douglas County. Her rental car was another red flag. She swapped her vehicle shortly after the incident, claiming it smelled like smoke. But investigators believe she was trying to hide forensic evidence. It was becoming clear This wasn't a runaway situation. Hundreds of volunteers scoured fields, forests, and waterways. Candlelight vigils were held. Flyers went up nationwide, but despite all efforts, there was no sign of Gannon. In early February, Letitia left Colorado and drove to South Carolina. Investigators believe she fled intentionally, following the pattern of someone trying to escape mounting pressure. On March 2, 2020, with evidence piling up, Letitia Stauch was arrested in Myrtle Beach, charged with first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased body, tampering with evidence. But the most heartbreaking moment was still to come. In March 2020, nearly 2 months after Gannon disappeared, workers on a bridge near Pace, Florida made a devastating discovery. A suitcase dumped off the roadside. Inside was the body of 11-year-old Gannon Stauch. Investigators believe Letitia placed his body in the suitcase in Colorado, then drove it across multiple states before disposing of it in Florida. The distance alone, over 1,300 miles, shocked even seasoned detectives. The autopsy confirmed Gannon suffered a brutal and violent death. The findings removed all doubt. This was a premeditated act. Letitia's trial was repeatedly delayed as she claimed insanity, faked mental health episodes, and attempted to manipulate the court.
That requires them to bring in paramedics, and they find that she's perfectly normal. She knows that the investigation is starting to zero in on her.
At one point, she even tried to escape from a transport van.
She keeps threatening me. Stop. Well, she keeps threatening me.
But in April 2023, the trial officially began. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence: blood spatter analysis, Letitia's internet searches, forensic findings in the home, her inconsistent and bizarre statements, GPS data tracking her movements, the Florida suitcase discovery. The jury watched hours of interviews where Letitia contradicted herself again and again. They also saw the heartbreaking testimony from Albert, who sat just feet away from the woman who took his son's life after weeks of testimony.
I have had a number of cases which have demonstrated one person's capacity for cruelty toward another human being. I can, however, say without hesitation that the facts in this case are the most horrific I have ever seen. Your conduct in this case deserves the maximum punishment that I can impose under Colorado law. As such, with respect to the charge of first-degree murder after deliberation, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. With respect to the charge of murder in the first degree of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole.
The jury reached a decision. Letitia Stauch was found guilty on all charges, including first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For many, the verdict brought closure, but not peace. Nothing could undo the horror of what happened to Gannon. The community of Colorado Springs continues to honor Gannon's memory. Vigils, fundraisers, and scholarships have been created in his name. His father, Albert, has spoken about wanting Gannon to be remembered not for the cruelty he suffered, but for the intelligent, kind, and creative boy he was. Letitia's actions shattered a family, but the strength and unity of those who searched for Gannon showed the world something else: compassion, resilience, and the power of community. The Gannon Stauch case is a chilling reminder that evil can hide behind a smile, a marriage, or even a parental role. What began as a missing child report unraveled into a story of deception, violence, and unimaginable betrayal. But through the tireless work of investigators, volunteers, and a heartbroken father, Gannon's voice was finally heard. Thank you for watching. If you want more true crime stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps keep these cases alive and these victims remembered.